Hey, lucky guy, you found me. You found the lost signal. I'm Kiki, your radio host. And you're gonna be stuck with me forever. But today, I'm here to speak about something important in the gaming world. Anti-intellectualism. But to be fair, this also translates to other, let's say, industries of the world, especially the people's activities, like listening to music, to gaming, to reading. These days, anything that provokes deep thinking, it's way too deep, complex, pretentious. That's what the people think. That's what the people say. Anything that provokes a feeling uncomfortable in your heart, that's wrong and dangerous. People don't want it. But you're stronger, right? You actually see the little nuances in things, right? That's why you're here. That's why you found my radio. That's why you're special. So let me explain to you. Short videos like TikToks and shorts are increasingly diminishing people's ability to concentrate. I myself am not immune to this, but at least I try to combat it in certain ways. People need constant stimulation to maintain concentration, not only on social media, but now this rule also applies to video games. Deep stories are dismissed with contempt by the masses, whose brains have been eaten away by the immediacy of modern society. Anything that tries to provoke deeper thought, it's rejected because it is for geeks. You may think I am exaggerating, but it's not that complicated or important. And while that may be true, that thought is itself a victim of modern culture. The implications of our actions and their consequences are ignored because digging beneath the surface would mean stirring up uncomfortable things, looking directly at the hidden monster we don't want to admit it's there, or even beginning to discover things we didn't know we could feel. Social media rewards immediacy, visuals, and easy consumption, edited, fast, and direct content that enters your cortex already digested. We need everything now. We need to understand everything now. Human beings fear what they don't know, and we are ashamed to admit that we don't know something, especially when FOMO, or fear of missing out, it's so strong these days. Especially if we transfer all of this to the world of gaming, we can take as example a man who provokes both admiration and rejection, Hideo Kojima. And before you close this video, hear me out first. Kojima is not the greatest genius of our century, nor he is the worst writer out there. He is a little pretentious, but ignoring the message of his stories is often a mistake. With the release of Death Stranding, I've been observing the different reactions of people on the internet, and I often encounter ridicule. Not only towards the questionable gameplay, which I admit it can be a bit rough, but also towards the story. Yes, I am aware that the story is nothing special or new, but it emphasizes something important: loneliness. In Death Stranding, the world has been fractured by a phenomenon that connects the world of the living with that of the dead. This causes fear in people. Each person focuses on surviving as best as they can in a hostile world where there is no established government. Nihilism, individualism, and mistrust largely affect the real world. As we gradually separate ourselves, we look at our selfish impulses more than the common good. In the game, there are porters, people who deliver packages, who are obsessed with delivering packages. They care more about the role than reconnecting people. Doesn't that remind you of something? Well, I think an important factor that ties our discourse together is the lack of empathy. Due to growing individualism, there is a significant lack of empathy where each person's greed is more important than the well-being of others. I'm not saying that that is now necessary to sacrifice everything for the good of others. But it is true that people have been losing that human quality, that concern for being a good person and not harming others. If that's what it takes for one to perceive oneself as superior. It is similar to the objectivism presented in Bioshock and the criticism of excessive selfishness, which it describes as selfishness elevated to a system that destroys everything, because why help someone if it does not benefit you? And if you're one that needs help, that would generate hatred towards others, an endless loop of selfishness and loneliness that undermines the foundation of society as we know it. In the world of Bioshock, altruism is defined as a problem. And yet, in real life, thousands of young people idolize Andrew Ryan and look up to him with admiration for his famous quote, "Man chooses, the slave obeys." That quote itself isn't bad, but the interpretation that the interpretation that many young people give it today is wrong. Living for yourself without thinking about anyone else. But you too can choose to be a good and compassionate person. Compassionate towards others, you can choose to see beyond the surface, find the nuances of the stories and emotions that developers imbue in video games, the passion, the desire. You can choose to reject the mentality of immediacy. Stop for a second to reflect. Use your brain instead of relying on machines or people on social media who claim to have the absolute truth about everything. Everything has nuances. Everything has stories and connections to complex and profound themes. So, yes, it is that deep, bro. It always has been. It's true that not all video games are highly complex, but there are definitely always things you can delve deeper into. If we fall into superficiality and immediacy, we can expect a future full of mediocre video games, especially created to keep the masses quiet, consuming the same thing over and over again. If this continues, the future of video games will fall especially into the hands of indies, such as the developers of Expedition 33, Stardew Valley, Deltarune, and a thousand other examples, because human beings are curious and creative, and there is nothing in this world that can prevent that. But aside from gaming, have you noticed a little something? Have you noticed that in music also this is elevated even further? That the music that gets famous nowadays only speaks about sex. They only speak about money, drugs, and all of that sort of thing. Because people want to feel important. They want to feel powerful and desired in many ways. Not only about, oh, I want to take you to bed, but also I am powerful because I have money, or I am powerful because I can hit you, that sort of thing, especially in American music. If you go to other places, because they try to imitate American music, this is also similar. Perhaps not as strong depending on the country, but you can see the trends and you can see how sad it is that you have to go and dig so deep on the internet to find different worthy music. You see the same songs, the same artists over and over, overrated and never changing topics. When there is one actual very famous good artist, everyone loses their minds because finally something creative. And I can say things, I can say names, I can say that I think Lady Gaga is one of the only artists that deserve my admiration nowadays, especially in American music. I see that many artists can't make songs if it's not insulting someone. So, isn't it decadent? Isn't it sad that everyone imitates each other? Everyone copies each other. There's no true identity anymore. There is no true courage to be different. Because if you're different, then they point at you and they laugh at you because how dare you be different? This world is so hostile to true personality, even if it is something little, like you just having a video game keychain in your purse or in your backpack. Oh no, look, it's the geek. Do not be afraid. Don't be afraid to be yourself. You are worthy and never give up. I'm Kiki and this is the Lost Radio. I hope you enjoyed. See you soon.